Alright, I'm about to explain the process of how I make these metal drum beats on FL Studio. Proper way to set it up and all that. Alright, so we're going to start with all your patterns here. We're going to look at them for now as your drum set. You're building up your drum set however you want. You go over here, you find the patterns you want, take them, throw them in. If you don't know how to do that, you shouldn't even be making drum beats at this point. Figure out the basics first. But yeah, you get all those put in here. Everything you want: kick drums, snare, all your toms, your cymbals, all kind of cymbals, hi-hats, ride, splashes, chinas, bells, everything you're gonna need. And then once you get them in here, we're gonna start to look at them as microphones instead of actual drums or cymbals. We're going to look at these as the drum mics. So when I record drums, real drums, I use 2 mics for the kick drum. I'll stick one in the hole in the head, and have it close to where the beaters are hitting the kick drum. And then I'll take a second mic, use like a large condenser mic or whatever, and stick it outside the head, the front of the head. And that'll give me my boomy sound. So the first mic will give me my clickier sound, and the second one will be the bass boomier sound. And I'll blend them two together to give me my actual sound. I do the same with the snare drum. I have a mic on the top pointed at the, directly at the head. Then I stick another one on the bottom to point directly at the snares, and that gives me the attack. So the top one gives me the warmth, the bottom one gives me the attack, and I blend them together. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. I pick a sound that is more bassier and more boomier. Then I click another sound that has the higher tone, mimicking what a mic would be picking up, how the microphone would be recording it. And then I blend them together, and I do the same with the snare drum. Every other instrument, I don't use 2 microphones because that's the way, you do it. So once you get all that done, all your microphones, let's call them, loaded up, you're going to put them into your mixer now, which you see I have done. Everything is in the mixer. And the way of doing that is you got to double click on the mouse on any one of these green dots. Well, you're going to turn them green, channel select. You're going to left click, double click on it, select them all. Click on the mixer, get your first channel up, and now right click anywhere on the first channel, and then click link selected channels starting from this track. Click on that one, and it'll link every single one of these channels in order, starting from track number 1 on the mixer. So that's the easiest and fastest way to do it. You could sit here individually, and you see that's on track 1, mixer track 1. You can move it to track 2, track 3, no track, and do that for every single one, but that'll drive you crazy. So now once you have all that, everything's in the mixer, what you're going to do is picture the drum set on a stage. You're at a small show and you're standing directly in front of the drum set in the crowd, and everything has its place. Your kick drum is usually right in the center, and you're going to do that with the panning. You're going to leave that right in the center. This is how you pan left to right. And now the guy's hi-hat will be slightly off to your right. You'll be looking at it, so you're going to pan that slightly to the right. To pan something, all you have to do is click on that little upside down U looking thing, hold it, and drag the mouse left or right, up and down maybe on your computer. And now you look at the ride symbol. The ride symbol is usually off to the left. It has crashes. There's a crash off to the right, a crash off to the left. Splash symbols off to the right. You see the toms, they're all in different spots because they go from left to right. The higher pitched ones are more toward the right then they get further left as they go along. And you do that for every single thing you got there. And then what I do next is I start equalizing everything. Now picture like you're at the show early and you hear the guy, he's setting up, and the roadie or whoever the hell it is hitting the drum, and he'll be doing something like this. And while he's doing that, there's a sound guy sitting there in the back, doing the EQ and all the effects and whatnot. And this is how you would do that. Find the channel. Go over here. If you want to add EQ, find your EQ, click on it. And now you can see what's happening with this. I already EQ'd everything. And then you would just, move on to your next instrument. You would sit there and do that with every instrument, just as if it was, you're setting it up live. You could see that's the channel right there. And you could see the waveform, or not the waveform, the whatever the hell it is off to the right. It's favoring the right side, the sound level, because it's panned to the right. And so yeah, anyway. So you go through all that, you equalize everything, put your reverb if you want it, your effects, all kind of that, whatever you got to do. And then, once you do all that, what I would do is I would make, some kind of quick pattern on here, just to test everything out and see how it sounds. And you could start adjusting volumes. Maybe the snare was too loud. You bring the snares down a little bit. Maybe the cymbals were too loud. Whatever, bring them down a little bit. Got blast beat there, real fast blast beat. So yeah, you could pretty much, just make a bunch of different beats and start adjusting the sound. And then you could start making actual beats, filling up these your patterns and stuff. This is a track I'm working on for somebody right now. And let me show you what I do. Like, my pattern 1 is always my fast double bass. I save things that I use often. Blasts on the snare, slow double bass. But what you do is you make your pattern. This would be fast double bass, let's say, and then you fill that in, and you would go piano roll, and then all the notes would be like this in the piano roll. And what you could see now is if you click on velocity, note velocity, you can see down here everything's a little off. And what this does is each note is not being hit exactly as hard as the last one. There's a slight, difference in volume, as if you were a real drummer. You're not going to be hitting everything exactly the same hardness every single time. So that's why you do that, make it sound a little bit more human. And you're going to do that with every single instrument you use. So we got a blast beat snare I got set up. You can see I've done the same thing, moved everything around a little bit so it sounds a little more human-like. And between that and the panning, is what's going to give you, a nice, real nice sound, opposed to the obvious equalizing and all that. And then when I got that all done, what I'll do is I'll just go into the master section. And you just want to click on the master section, and then you'll have you could add effects in just like you did for each individual channel before. And you're going to play your song, whatever you got. And you're going to equalize the mix, You're going to make everything sound good, like that. And, that's pretty much it. You just as you go and as you're playing the songs, you're going to be polishing things up, tweaking things on the mixer here and there. But other than that, that's it. And I mean, if you guys want to know how to make, patterns like this and all that stuff, I have other videos showing, like having me demonstrate as I'm just making bullshit songs real quick, and I have another one with photos of actual patterns, death metal patterns in FL Studio. So you could search those videos if you need to. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you're wondering, my tempo right there was 253 beats per minute. Typically for metal, you can go anywhere down to, I guess, 150 or so. But I typically like around 185 to 220. But like I said, this is for somebody and they want something real fast and technical, so that's what they're getting. So yeah, thanks for watching. Any questions, just feel free to ask. I'm always here doing this stuff and trying to help people out any way I could, so let me know.